Hey everyone, it's the Vegan Preppers, both of us this time.
Hi.
Welcome to another couple chat. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do, Vegan Prepper. Do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, Vegan Prepper. Oh my gosh, you guys have no idea how hard that intro is to film. But anyway, hi. Here we are.
It's all my fault.
It's not really your fault. We didn't really like discuss it beforehand. But anyway, yeah, so it's been a while. Like, want to do a quick life update or like?
Yeah. We're just coming through my busy season at work, so we're finally tapering off for the summer.
Yeah.
So you guys might see me again.
Yeah, I'm excited. Will I get to see you again?
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. So why don't you go first?
Yeah, besides just working all the time, I'm trying to run a lot and trying to accomplish anything but working. So I got a new knife.
Yeah.
I will eventually start doing some reviews again.
I love your little face, even though it was blocked. It's Father's Day present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a assisted open, not an automatic.
I don't know what that means. What does it mean?
Assisted open means you have to move the blade some yourself, which I do with this little tab here. And then a spring takes over to open it the rest of the way. It does not open all the way, just
Like
about that far. And then,
does your other one like go all the way?
no, you have to do it completely with your hand.
The orange handled one?
Yeah, that is non-assisted. And then automatic, you just press a button and then it does all the work.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, but I'll do a review of it at some point.
Okay, that's your orange handled knife. Sorry, I don't know all the names and all the letters and all the numbers. It's like,
there is a review of that knife on the channel. That is the Doug Ritter RSK Mark II.
letters and numbers, letters and numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, and actually, well, I'll link that down below, the review of that knife. You really love that knife.
It's a great knife.
That was your Father's Day gift last year. Or was it like 2 years ago?
That was my 40th birthday.
Oh, it was your 40th birthday present. Okay, sorry. I mixed up all the things.
Yes. And I didn't want this knife because I didn't like that knife. I wanted this knife because I like knives. So
Yes.
I didn't have an assisted open yet, so.
Well, you gotta try out all the things and see what you like.
Yep.
It makes sense. Yeah.
So far it's weird because I've been opening knives the same way for the last 20 years.
Yeah. You don't have any automatic ones, I don't think.
Nope.
No. Okay.
I was kicking the idea around, but they're too much money and they're too heavy.
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel like I would be nervous about that. Like it would like open in my pocket. I know that like there's probably a million safeties for why that wouldn't happen, but for me personally, I would be like,
yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Not happy with the idea of pushing a button, just having a knife go ding. Like, anyway. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a little boring. I don't have a lot going on.
Yeah. Like I do.
I got a new flashlight too, but it's not in my pocket right now.
You got a new flashlight. You're so funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what, like, I just hang out here. Well, they see all the stuff I do, so. But it's not like, I don't know, not like riveting. Although maybe it is. Hopefully it is, because you guys are watching a lot of it. But yeah, I don't know. I just like, yeah, stay home, take care of the kids, work, you know, run my business.
Yep.
Try to do this, like. So this is kind of, I guess, the update is like, I think I talked about it in my latest day in the life video that I have kind of had like a realization, like a shift in my thinking towards the channel. Sort of had a realization that, you know, this is not the realization part. Like, I know this is my passion. Like, I love this. This is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing with this season in my life. But like, even though this is like my passion, it's like on the lowest priority basically, because everything else is always, you know, comes up. So, but just realizing that I need to shift and make this a priority, you know, filming and actually creating content and whatnot. So yeah, my goal right now, for now, potentially an ignorance is bliss kind of goal, is to have videos putting out Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And I might, you know, end up scaling that back, like if it just becomes too much. But for now, actually, with this video, I'm covered until next Friday. So, nice. You know, like and it's only, you know, it's Sunday. So, it seems like it might be doable, you know, and I actually think it might work. So we're going to see. Hopefully I don't run out of things to talk about. Don't you dare make a face. You're so sweet. Poor thing. He's been listening to me for
almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years, yeah.
Good times.
I haven't run out of things to say yet. So I don't think there's any chance of that for the YouTube channel. So anyway, yeah. So, okay. A little bit of an update, I guess. And yeah. Kind of get into our main topic, which is, I guess, something that we've talked about a million times before, but we'll just keep talking about it. Yeah. I think it's important. Partly why we are here.
Yeah.
The shoulder bump is like,
I know.
You want to do it?
I'm a listener, not a talker.
Yeah.
No, basically, keeping focused, regardless of what's going on in the world. Obviously, as people who prepare for things, we should have some idea of what we're preparing for, what's going on in the world, but kind of looking at what does all the information we take in do for us.
Yeah.
So obviously we're all taking in information all day long. Mm-hmm. We get to hear about all the sadness in the world. Obviously, if you're paying attention to the news, you get to hear about all the sadness in the world. And
even like made up sadness.
Yeah, totally.
Sadness and conflict that they create because it gives them more money for their advertisers.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, continue.
That's something to, I think that really fits in with what we're talking about, is like so much of what we see and hear coming into our televisions, our radios, mm-hmm. our phones is profit driven. Mm-hmm. For the most part, fear is a huge motivator to stay connected with those things. The news stations know that if you are afraid, you will be more connected so that you can know what's going on to help with those fears.
Yeah, well, I mean, they make you afraid of not having information, and then guess what they sell you? It's information. So it's like they make you scared so that you will keep coming back for more information, and that's how they make all of their money. And with that, I'm not specifically criticizing anybody or naming any names, because I am not at all doing that. So I don't want us to even do it in the comments. But I feel like there are some prepper channels on YouTube that do the same thing.
Yep.
And I've heard that many times in the comments that people say, like, we really appreciate you not being doom and gloom and not doing that, because, you know, we're not here to sell you fear. We're here to be empowering and like, you know. But anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously I hope it's obvious that we are Christians. And that's really all about hope. So, we hope to bring hope through our channel. Yeah. So at any rate, trying to find some balance between being uninformed and being informed, and what we do with the information that we do take in. It's hard to avoid. It's hard to avoid all that's going on. I mean, and I don't think we necessarily should avoid that information.
Yeah, be aware, for sure. But even still, it's like, up to what point? Right. And I guess it's kind of what we're like talking about, because we were talking about that, like at what point does it no longer serve you to receive that information? Or maybe it's even like the way that the information is portrayed, like we said, that they're selling fear, attempting to get you to. So it's like, is there a way of just harnessing the facts without all of the stuff attached that like addicts you and makes you try to go back for more because you're so afraid now that you heard about all this stuff or whatever?
Yeah, I think so much of it is just what we do internally with the information. It's the that quote from After Earth about fear and danger. If you guys haven't watched After Earth, it got horrible reviews. It was an amazing movie.
How did it get bad reviews? I don't understand it.
But I guess Kathy's gonna look up the quote.
Is it that one?
Yes, but I can't read that far away, so you might have to read it for me.
Okay.
I'm on backup glasses right now, so they're not 100%.
I can see he doesn't have spare glasses. Prepper.
These are spare glasses.
No, I know. I'm just being silly. Like, I was saying that more for like somebody in the comments, like. But I know because these are the old prescriptions, so they are the spares. I am not making fun of him. Anyway, okay, here it is. It's just such a good movie. Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is the product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present and may not ever exist. That is near insanity. Now, do not misunderstand me. Danger is very real, but fear is a choice. So good. So good.
So yeah, that's like, it's like key of taking that information, determine, is it danger? If it's danger, then we need to act on it.
Right.
If there's a significant potential that it will cause us harm, then we need to do something about it. If it's just a question, if it's just an abstract where it could maybe possibly make our lives harder, then that's going to fall into we don't have enough information, we can't see the future, we don't have the crystal ball, and we don't need to have our headspace taken up by, we don't need to have our emotional state go negative because of this piece of information that we have that we don't have all the information about. I think the issues going on over in Ukraine is a great example of that. Now, the people in Ukraine, they are in danger. Their situation is very real. So my heart goes out to them. My prayers go out to them. I hope it gets resolved quickly. The question of, what we do with that information, praying for people is definitely a good thing to be doing. But do I let my life become this constant state of fear and fall into some kind of depression because what if it happened here? It's just like
we deal with it.
Yeah.
Or we die. Like, it's like those are your only two options. It's like,
so yeah, how do we take that piece of information? What does it do for us to be wondering about what if it happened here? I mean, you could go and stockpile ammo, but what difference does it make?
Yeah, how would you prepare for a situation like that? Honestly, in my own headspace, I go through it and I think, and it's like, well, we can have like a bug out type bag thing. But honestly, you can't like prepare for situations like that. Like that's where I get too. Like, and I'll watch some channels or whatever and I've said this before on the channel. And again, I'm not talking about anybody specifically, nobody I've ever really mentioned before. These are just sort of like fringe things every now and then I see, just because I watch. I like to be up to speed on like every viewpoint, even some of the more extreme ones that I don't agree with. But it's like, it seems almost like a lot of them are living like this Armageddon fantasy. Like, they want to actually, Canadian Prepper has joked about it before. He has straight up joked. He's like, you climb a wall with the kids on your back, and he's like, but if you don't get to live out that particular fantasy, and he jokes about it, he might have a little bit of it, but at least he's self-aware, right? But there's some guys that like, it's like you can tell they're almost hoping for the end of the world so that they can prove how tough they are, or they can survive, or like they need a challenge maybe, and like modern life does not provide, I think, people in general, but gosh, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, but like specifically men, I feel like there's not a lot of like challenge. Men, I think, have a thing inside of them, and you can tell me whether or not I'm correct, and if you see it in yourself or your friends or whatever, they have something inside of them that wants to like conquer and dominate and like, rah, like be the best, and like you want to achieve something and make a mark on the world, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a very masculine desire. Maybe some women have that, but it's like, it feels like a very masculine thing.
That's like sports is, I think, is the modern equivalent of open warfare, where like, it feels like some kind of a life and death struggle, but it's actually just game. But and dudes sitting on their couches can still attach to that like, my team is doing their thing. I mean, there's a portion of me that is running, there's this
you set the next insane goal for yourself.
Struggle, work, accomplishment. Struggle, work, accomplishment.
Right.
And it is very satisfying.
Right.
Even though it's like
brutal.
It's like totally unnecessary and very hard.
Yeah. So. But you need that space. You need space to do that. Yeah. You have to. Yeah. And so,
I get super weird if I'm not doing something like that.
Yeah. Doing some sort of crazy physical thing. Yeah. I've learned that years and years and years and years and years ago. He's got to have space to do that. But anyway, I just like, I feel like there's people who are almost living out, like they almost have like this fantasy of everything going wrong, and then they get to be the one that survives, and they're going to be like in Mad Max, and like, they're going to be one of the ones that's like surviving, or like up at the top of the food chain or whatever. And it's like such a, I don't know, like you can kind of get that feeling that there's a lot of preppers out there that kind of, again, they almost desire it. I'm definitely not that kind of person. I mean, and I'm not saying that women don't like challenges. Please don't get me wrong on that. I don't mean to start like a gender war or whatever. I'm just saying, like, there are certain characteristics that we think of as more masculine, certain characteristics we think of as more feminine, and I'm not trying to say that all men are like this or all women are like this, but for me personally, I don't feel like I have that, except for maybe Laura on Duolingo. So I'm in Duolingo, and I'm going back and forth with, I'm like, actually now I'm starting to feel stressed that we're filming right now instead of me being on Duolingo getting more experience, because Laura keeps knocking me out of the #1 spot on my league in Duolingo. But anyway,
Duolingo is a language learning app.
Yes, it is. Sorry. Thank you for clarifying.
She's learning Chinese, and I'm learning French.
Yeah.
Because I pick a super useful language.
Yeah.
It's not a very prepper language. I should learn something useful like Russian.
Did you just... Okay, well, hopefully they're laughing.
Sorry, people. That was a joke. If you don't know what a joke is, look it up.
Okay, anyway. So yeah, but we want to accomplish things. And I've completely lost my train of thought at this point. Oh yeah. I go back to, so preparing for a situation, like an extreme situation like that, I go to like, well, we'll just do the best that we can with what we've got. Either we survive or we don't. And I don't mean that to be like flippant. That's just, honestly, that's how I think of in my mind. That's how I sort of shut it down and stop obsessing over all of the little details. I don't know if my personal, like my family history helps me a little bit with that. I didn't experience any of it myself, but like, on my, excuse me, on my mother's side, my grandfather, my Jaju, he was actually born in a gulag in Siberia, because my great grandfather was taken like as a prisoner of war, and there's this whole long story, and then they finally escape Russia and they get back, and then everything like Poland got taken over by the Nazis, and then they ended up in Auschwitz #1. This is like a very shortened version of this story. So Auschwitz II is the one that's really the one. When people say Auschwitz, they mean Auschwitz II, which is where over 2 million Jewish people were horrifically killed. And then in Auschwitz #1 was where over 950,000 Polish Catholics were killed. Also horrifically killed. So anyway, they ended up in Auschwitz #1. The family ended up getting liberated. But even before they ended up there are stories about them surviving, like before getting rounded up in the cities and having to go out and scrounge for food. And anyway, so it's like they lived it. And so I have these stories. And so I don't know if like just understanding that I am literally only, 2 generations now removed from that reality, basically, that they lived essentially what's going on in Ukraine right now. They lived it, There's only one remaining living family member who can recall it and still tells the stories. But it's like, I guess for me, it's like, well, they got through it. If we ended up in that situation again, we would either get through it or we would die. To me, it's that simple, and I don't need to obsess about it.
Right.
And like, it's like, we did it before, we'll do it again. I've also mentioned before, like, I don't know too. It's like, I'm not necessarily scared of like violence and stuff like that. I know sometimes maybe you wish I was a little more scared of violence.
Yeah.
Like, there's some stories.
Some freaking incredible stories.
But like, I don't know, I don't know, I guess I have problems. I can't stop. Anyway, I grew up, I in my childhood then, I had an extremely abusive father. He was horribly abusive childhood. So I went through a lot of that stuff. I fearing for my life. Like, people talk about how in modern day, most people have not had actual terror of their lives. And it's like, I have absolutely had that. Like, I grew up in that. I was terrified of dying all the time. And so I don't mean to be dramatic. I'm just saying, like, so I don't know, again, if like kind of my background, like I've already experienced some of that. I've already kind of gone through, and you get through it. You get through it and you heal, you get the help that you need, or you don't get through it. I don't know. Those are your only 2 options.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe that's part of my background and part of why I just don't obsess, because it's like, I feel like humans are stronger than we give ourselves credit for.
Yeah.
At that we are capable of surviving.
Yep.
And overcoming, and not just like barely getting through with the skin of our teeth, but like actually coming through and conquering that crap, I don't know.
I think so much of surviving is mindset.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons that we do the channel the way we do, trying to keep it positive, because when struggle comes up, negative mindset doesn't help you win.
Opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeping positive, keeping hopeful, keeping energized is what's going to get us through difficult situations.
Right.
And obviously we're a prepper channel, and we are preppers, and we put away our food, we take care of the stuff we need to take care of, and be ready for situations. And we've said it before, we're preparing for the probable, not the possible.
Yeah, we got that from city prepping. I love that.
So yeah, spending a huge amount of mental time on the possible and letting that distract us from the probable is an issue.
Right.
So, I mean, we could take out a huge loan and build a bomb shelter in our backyard and then not fill it with food. We've prepared for the possible and we've forgot about the probable.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, figuring out how to be moving forward constantly.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Always.
I feel like so much of this stuff that we hear in the world, we hear about all this bad news.
Sorry, I was trying to show my tattoo. Sorry, continue.
Is it impossible?
So I was gonna. Let's always moving forward. That's what our tattoos mean. Here.
Take a picture of
Let's put a shot in. We'll put a shot in at the end. Continue your thought. Sorry. What's going on in the world? Probable versus possible. I interrupted.
Totally lost my mind.
Like I do. I just interrupt. We prepare.
So yeah, constantly being in the moving forward. So much of everything we hear, it has the potential for making us go backwards. Mentally, physically, prep wise. If we take our foot off the gas, so to speak, in this building up what we know to be important, because we've got this fear about something that's really not important. And that's not to say that things happening in the world are not important, but they aren't important in the way that we need to change how we are doing everyday life because of them.
Yeah, and like, or are they important, but is it relevant to me?
Right.
And that's kind of like, and especially again, the stuff that's going on in Ukraine, like,
it's not to be insensitive.
Some of it is relevant though, is what I'm saying. But is it relevant to me that, people are currently struggling? It's like, well, is there a means by which I can physically help? So in that point, I think it would become relevant to me. Right. Can I give money to a reputable charity? If it were closer to home, can I go serve? Can I go clean something up? Can I, can I do something about it? Can I actually perform an action that changes something here? Right. Or am I just going to feel like I'm doing something because I'm obsessing about it? Right. I feel like a lot of people, they start obsessing about stuff and then they feel like they've done something because they can't stop thinking about it and they're obsessing. Yeah. But it's like, you haven't actually done anything. Right. So what relevance is that? What does it do?
And what have you missed in your life while you were obsessing about this thing that you can't control and can't help with?
Now, understanding that there's potential for the food shortages. Yep. That Ukraine is basically the breadbasket of Europe, and so we're looking at potential. Like, somebody was like, how much wheat do you think you need? On one of the videos showing I had stocked up on some more wheat berries. And it's like, I didn't know. How much is there? Well, because, wheat berries last for a really long time. Yeah. So also I'm not stocking, irresponsibly. I'm stocking on something that's going to last a very long time. And then if I don't need it right away,
It's still going to be good.
then I'll stop buying it, you know? But there's potential that it won't be there.
Yep.
So I'm not only thinking about 1 year of wheat at this point. I'm thinking like 2-3 years worth of wheat for us, you know? So anyway, it's just, yeah, it's like, so that at that point it becomes relevant.
Yep.
Understanding that conflict and seeing, okay, but so now is there a step that I can take? But then do I obsess about it? No.
Yeah. And that step to take is something that we should all be taking already, which is building up that supply of food. It's good for everybody all the time.
Right.
Always to have a supply of food.
Right.
Not just because the world might end, but because your world might change suddenly.
Right.
Just never know.
Yeah, and I honestly, it's good for other people. It is good for other people that we have a supply of food, which we have built slowly.
Yep.
We haven't gone and like cleared any shelves. In fact, I have a policy. I will not clear a shelf. A personal moral compass tells me do not clear a shelf. If there's only one of something and I have some at home, you know, if I'm just getting an extra because I like to have an extra, I will not buy that thing. If there's two, I'll only buy one, you know. It's just sort of like I always leave like 1 or 2 or 3 or, you know, like on the shelf, you know. But of course, if I have a genuine need for that item and I don't have an extra, you know, and I need that thing, there's only one left, then I will go ahead and get it because I need it, you know. But so it just as a general thing is I know people, you know, preppers get a bad rap for being ones that clear shelves, but
yeah,
we're not. But it's good for other people for us to have a stock, because when stuff starts running out, guess what? We're set. We're not ones going to the store buying or, you know, increasing demand when there's less to go around.
Right.
You know? But yeah, anyway. I have the video, right? Prioritizing preps on a budget. So that one is, I guess it's a pretty good video. People like it. But it just sort of goes into really too, like thinking about basically almost any situation that you can think of beyond, you know, some full scale blow up invasion type thing. True SHTF, like we're all just basically none of this matters if stuff like that happens. But, you know, beyond that, pretty much any situation that you can think of is covered by just some very basic things. Water, the ability to purify that water, food, the ability to cook that food without power, and I think it was like sanitation, and I can't remember, there were like 4 things to focus on. It's funny, I can't even remember my 4 things to focus on. But basically it's like you focus on just that, and there's almost no situation that you can think of that is not better served by you having preps in all of those areas. And so just start there. You don't have to prep for, like Adam was saying, some crazy possibility. Just prep for a probable thing. Losing a job. It's all helped by that. Or, you know, everybody's freaking out right now about potential blackouts. So if you have the ability to cook food without power and you have a stockpile of food, you're fine there too. You know, like, it's just sort of like there's almost nothing that's not served by focusing on only those things. And so you don't have to think about some, you know, crazy random, oh no, how do I prep for this? How do I prep for that? How do I prep for that? Just get your bases covered: water, food, sanitation, and something else. I can't believe I can't remember what. I go watch my own video. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, very, very basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basics cover everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what they don't cover, not much you can do about it anyways.
Yeah. And so, well, I guess like as a further thought on the probable versus possible thing, and I've mentioned before, I don't like canning. And then I'm going to get people trying to like, I don't know, like tell me how great it is. I'm sure it's great. Like
They're going to convert you.
I love you so much. Probably not, but they'll try. But like, if I lived in the Midwest and I had like a cellar, maybe. I would be more interested in canning. So it isn't only that I'm like terrified of botulism. It's just, I don't know. For me personally, one of our probables is potentially like losing power during the summer. And so if that happened, our house would climb super fast into 100-degree range. It has happened before. We lost, well, we not the power, but we lost our AC in, I believe, September, right?
Yep.
Of one year. And we had
over 90 degrees in the house.
It was 97. I remember distinctly. And it was September. And it was only like a day, right?
Yeah, I think it was fully down for a day and a half.
A day and a half. Okay. Really not very long at all. At a point in our year, which is not even that bad. And it climbed to 97 in my house in just a day and a half. And so for me personally, that is where you start potentially compromising the seals on your yard goods. Just all kinds of things can get compromised in that kind of heat. One of the things that doesn't really get compromised too badly is dry stores. And so for me personally, I have focused a lot of my prepping, a lot of my stocking is on dried food, dried stores. Because, you know, if it got to over 100 degrees, the shelf life of that food would be drastically reduced, but it wouldn't be like compromised in safety immediately, you know? So I have a different thought process on some of what I have done based on what's probable in my area. Now, again, if you have like a nice root cellar or something, can away. So anyway.
Yeah.
I guess, do you have anything else to say about any of that?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Well, yeah, hopefully it was encouraging and uplifting. Yeah, it's just kind of what we want to be.
Yeah. Staying positive. I spend very little time actually watching a lot of prepping videos, just because I was finding so many of them were kind of doom and gloom, and it was kind of putting me in a negative mental space.
Yeah, I focus a lot more of my energy on more homesteading videos, oddly enough. You might not think I would. Definitely not vegan, 100% not vegan. But there's a lot of really amazing practical how-to, day-to-day kind of stuff, you know, and I dig it. You know, I can still learn. I get a lot of like those comments that are always like, I'm not vegan, but I learn a lot from you. So I should go on all those channels and be like, I'm vegan, but I learn a lot from you. So we can all learn a lot from each other, kind of no matter what.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's cool. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and close it out. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Let us know in the comments down below if you liked having Adam back. We're going to try to get him on the channel more. And you have a knife review now. You've promised a knife review.
I have another one that I already promised.
The Leatherman one?
Yep.
Oh, yeah? You
Maybe
do
I'll do
need
that
that one.
Soonish.
Yeah, we'll get you set up, filming and whatnot. All right, cool. Then I guess that's all. I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. See you later. Bye.